What's up, guys? So today I'm going to take a little bit of a break from working on the Audi. It's still sitting with the fenders just welded together. I haven't done any body work on it yet. I got to try and get this Nissan done. I went to drive it so that I could go do emissions on it the other day, and it freaking died on me, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I got to remembering when I bought the car, the guy told me that it had burnt valves in the head. That's why he had to have the head rebuilt. So burnt valves generally indicates that the car has been running lean for a while. So I put a fuel pressure gauge on here, and it wasn't producing any fuel. I mean, it was producing like 15-20 pounds of fuel pressure. It's supposed to have like 52. And then it was instantly losing fuel pressure as soon as you turn the key off. As soon as the prime was done, it would lose fuel pressure. If you keep priming it and like get it to prime continuously and then try and start the car, it would run for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and then it would shut off. So I went and bought a new fuel pump. I'm going to replace the fuel pump on here. I already replaced the catalytic converter on here so that I can get it to pass emissions. I took the header off and put a cat on here. Much as I didn't want to, I have to so that I can pass emissions. So I'm going to finish working on this car, get it going, and then that's basically what's going to be in this video is replacing the fuel pump, figuring out what else is wrong with this thing, getting emissions on it, doing the first drive, and then giving a breakdown of everything that I had to put in it to get it where it is now. Now, with all that being said, this car, even though I'm going to register it and I'm going to drive it, my daughter's going to drive it, I'm going to be putting it up for trade for a pickup truck. So be on the lookout for it on a marketplace if you're interested in a Nissan Sentra SER, because I need a pickup truck more than I need another car. So, but yeah, that's where we're going to go. So hope you enjoy. All right, guys. So the way this seat sits in here, you've got little hooks over there and right here that the hooks for the seat sit in, and then the front is just popped in. So you just stick your hand over there and pop up on both sides, and then when you pop up the front, pull it forward and the seat will come right out. And then the fuel pump's right there. I know this is all pretty basic, but I still want to do a video for anybody that's trying to do a Nissan Sentra fuel pump. They'll have this as a reference. All right, now to get these out, all you should have to do is turn them. I guess I got to get a screwdriver to do that. I was hoping I could do it with my fingers. So we'll just use well, I thought I was going to be able to use just a Phillips head screwdriver. All right, there we go. There's one turned. Man, they don't want to turn. All right, let's see if it'll turn now. No, those heads are shot. So even if the heads are messed up, you can put a wrench on here and turn them. I don't know why I'm still screwing with this screwdriver when I could just use a crescent wrench, but I'm already doing it, so I'm just going to keep freaking doing it. Screw it. All right, there we go. So once you get those loose, disconnect your electrical connector. Man, this is a pain in the ass. I don't know why that button doesn't want to push. There we go. All right. There we go. Now, to get the fuel line off, normally you will have fuel pressure, and what you need to do is pull the fuse for the fuel pump and try and start the car a couple times to relieve the fuel pressure. I know there's no fuel pressure in here, so I'm not worried about getting wet with gas. But if there was fuel pressure in here, you would get drenched if you try and open this hose without relieving the fuel pressure. So all you do is there's 2 tabs on the side of the fuel line. You squeeze them together and pull the hose back, and it'll come off. But you can see there's no fuel pressure in there. This pump is shot. So now this, ooh, I might have bought the wrong freaking pump, because this one bolts in and the other one is a twist top. So I may not be able to use the pump that I bought. We'll get this one out and see what the difference is. So you can use either an 8mm, 5/16, or a Phillips head screwdriver to get this out. Because a 5/16 and an 8mm are the same size. Now, I'm probably gonna have to use a socket on that one, because it feels like I'm gonna strip out the Phillips head if I try and do it with a Phillips head. Okay, so now that I have pressure off all the other screws, and this is the only one holding it down, maybe it took enough pressure off of it where I can turn it. Nope, I gotta put a socket on it. Yeah, I gotta put a socket on it. I'm twisting the head out of it. All right. So, like I said, 8mm. I can look at it and tell what size it is, but so now it's definitely spring loaded, like the one that I got, but the one that I have has a screw on top, so we'll have to see what the real difference is between them. Or maybe I looked at it wrong and it doesn't have a screw in top. But whenever you replace the fuel pump, replace this O-ring as well. Okay, so I was incorrect. I did get one that is a screw in top. So they are identical. Make sure everything matches up. The way that it's built, like this part of the casing right here, is a little bit different, but the overall design of the pump is basically the same. So we have the fuel temperature sensor and the level sensor already in it. Came with a new lid, so, and a new O-ring. So that's what we're going to replace now. So, I mean, this is really, like I said earlier in the video, this is a really easy repair. So, I mean, it's kind of silly to even make a video about it, but I figured I would show you some of the stuff that I'm going through, because I believe what I'm going to start doing is I'm still going to do the automotive platform like I'm doing, but I'm also going to do it in the aspect of a vlog type format when I don't have any big projects going on, because I want to keep you guys getting good content to watch and just keeping up with what I've got going on around here. So I am going to be doing a little bit more of a vlog style approach here and there. Now, when I get into major projects, it's just going to be freaking major projects, and that's just the way I'm going to handle it. So I hope y'all like the direction that I'm going to go with this channel. So there's the fuel pump down in there. Slide our mounting plate over top of it. And where's my bolts? There's my bolt holes. go ahead and run in 2 bolts, one opposite of each other, so that it helps hold it down. Then I'll take my hand off of holding it and run the rest of the bolts in. There we go. That way the O-ring down inside the tank doesn't slide while I'm trying to get the rest of the bolts in here. So now I can, oh, it didn't come with the little clip. So I got to take the clip off the old fuel line, or off the old fuel pump, in order to clip the fuel line on there. So, pretty important. So I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. All right, so now all I gotta do is put that other clip onto here off of the old pump, and then hook up the power. So I really do hate having to reuse these, and I know they sell them new, but I don't want to drive up to the store. So in order to get these off, what you got to do, there's a ring. You can see that ring right there on this one. And that ring is locked behind these 2 ears. So all you gotta do is pull up on those ears and it'll slide off. So there's one past it. And there's the other past it. So that'll slide right off. And then we just clip that bad boy on there. And there we go. So now we can hook our power wires back up to her. And that's all clipped in. Get those back in place, hook our wire back into our holders. Oh. Man, these things are a pain in the ass to turn. All right, I'm gonna do it with a wrench. Screw it. So I don't know what size this is. It's probably a 10 millimeter. These things do not want to turn. I'd almost prefer it to be screws. Oh, because I got to turn it the other damn way. Because I'm a freaking idiot. So these will only turn 90 degrees in one direction and then 90 degrees back the other direction. I really don't like that. I mean, I understand it's good for quick. That's the old one. All right. So I understand it's good for quick change, but I don't like it. So now I'm gonna pop the back seat back in there, and then we're gonna try and start this thing. And then I'm missing 2 pieces of trim. I gotta try and find those either on eBay or from a junkyard. But I'm missing the trim that goes right here by the seat and over there by the seat. Okay, so I got the car running, but it's got a miss. I don't know if you can hear that or see that. All right, so it's not that one. Not that one. Not that one. I don't know, maybe it's an injector. Maybe the injector's just clogged up. Maybe I need to run some fuel treatment for it. I'll see what I can do. All right, so this thing does run and drive. I'm driving it down my driveway right now. I don't know how good it drives, but we'll see once I get it out to the street. I'm not gonna judge it based off my driveway because my driveway sucks. Hence why the camera is so damn bouncy. But we'll see how it does when I get out on the street, and hopefully this thing's ready to rock and roll, and I can get it past emissions and get it registered so my daughter can drive it. Because as soon as it's registered and past emissions and everything, that's when I'm gonna list it for trade. And nah, this thing's still missing. All right, I got to get this thing back to the house. All right, guys, so I think I found my problem. Don't know how the hell I found it, but I found it. So that wire is kind of chewed up, and that one completely broke. So this cylinder was missing. So I'm gonna try and fix it. I don't know if I can. I may have to go to the junkyard and get another connector, but I'm gonna try and solder it back together just to see if I can get the car working. I'll eventually get a replacement connector and replace it. All right, looks like I've successfully been able to repair that wire. I'm gonna stick this back together. Hopefully nothing happens to that black wire. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think that should fix my misfire now. All right, so the car seems to be running way better, way more responsive, no more miss. Well, I say no more miss. It's still got a little bit of a miss, but I think that may just be the old fuel and whatnot. So I'm gonna reset the computer because I don't have a code reader here. I let my buddy Logan borrow it. So I don't have a code reader to clear the code. So I'm just gonna disconnect the battery, reset the codes, and I'm gonna take it out for a drive. Well, guys, I had to make another trip to Summit. I had to get a coil pack for the Nissan. So pretty cool store, real close to my house. So, all right, guys, so I'm back from Summit, put the coil pack on the car. It's still missing. Started doing some more research and digging and whatnot, and I replaced the cam sensor, but I did not replace the crank sensor. So I'm going to replace the crank sensor. Pulled the old crank sensor out, and it's got a dent in the side of it. So I'm hoping that that's what's wrong with it, is that the crank sensor is getting an intermittent false signal, because it runs fine when it's in open loop, but when it gets into closed loop after it warms up, that's when it starts missing. So I believe that there may be something wrong with there may be something wrong with the mass airflow sensor, or with the idle air control valve, or something along those lines. But I'm gonna go with the common stuff that fails on these cars. I knew I had a bad coil pack because I ran the codes and it showed me that I had misfire on number 1. I moved the coil pack from number 1 to number 3, reran the codes, gave me a check engine light for misfire on cylinder 3, so that tells me that that coil pack was bad. So I replaced that coil pack, got the thing back together, had it running, and it was running really nice. And I drove it up to the street and drove it down to the cul-de-sac at the end of my street, and at the end of the cul-de-sac it just started spitting and sputtering and fumbling all over itself. And I managed to get it back home. When I got it back home, got it here in the driveway, and it'll sit here and idle all day long. As soon as I put it under load, it wants to freaking mess up. So I'm gonna, and it still misfires a little bit when it's at idle, but nowhere near as bad as when I'm driving. So I'm really believing that I've got a bad crank sensor. I don't have an oscilloscope to check it, and I still don't have a code reader because my buddy Logan has it. So I'm kind of flying blind on this, and I really hate doing that, but I got to get this car going because my son-in-law is going to be coming home on leave for 30 days, and they need a car to drive while he's here because the Veloster is out of commission. I mean, it's not out of commission, but they didn't do emissions on it or re-register it because they're going to be leaving next month, and they're giving me the car. So, and I don't plan on registering it until I get it built. So I'll change ownership, but I'm not going to register it and do emissions and all that kind of crap. So I'm flying blind, trying to get this car done. So I'm going to give you an update after I figure out what the hell's wrong with it, and we'll just go from there. All right, guys, so I've been trying to diagnose this Nissan, and I'm sure this has been covered 100 times for Nissan forums, but in order to check codes on this car, all you need to do is turn the ignition switch to on, wait 3 seconds, press the gas pedal all the way down and release it 5 times, then count the 7 seconds with the accelerator all the way up, and after 7 seconds, press it to the floor and hold it for 10 seconds, and then the light will start flashing. So I'm going to do that now. So key on 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 1 pump, 2 pumps, 3 pumps, 4 pumps, 5 pumps, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, all the way to the floor. 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 9 1000, 10. And now it's starting to blink. You can let go of the accelerator pedal, but mine's going to show that it's got 4 zeros, which means there's no codes. But I just wanted to cover how to get into that. All right, guys, so I replaced the crankshaft position sensor, and this thing's running a whole lot better. But now I have a new problem. The freaking pulley on the power steering pump keeps wanting to come loose. I've tightened it down 3 or 4 times and it keeps coming back loose. I haven't even driven it because I'm scared the pulley's going to come off. So I'm going to remove the pump and see if I can repair the pulley. I don't know what I may have to wind up replacing the damn pump. But that's the only thing stopping me from having this thing done is now the power steering pulley just wants to keep falling off. And I think that may have been part of what I was fighting. I don't know, but I kept hearing a weird noise, and it was definitely the pulley wobbling on the dang pump. So luckily I found the nut and the lock washer because they both fell off. The pulley was about to fall off, and that's what really made me start hearing it. Was it started getting way louder. So I'll figure out what I got to do about the damn pump, and then I'll get it going. But the engine itself is running good now. All right, guys, so I'm pretty sure I was able to get the Nissan fixed with the power steering pump. Wow, just realized I had that big black spot on my nose. That's awesome. But I just got done getting the power steering pulley tightened up. I took the power steering pump off, put a little bit of Loctite on there, and then ran it on with an impact. I did not use permanent Loctite. I used just the blue Loctite. So hopefully that'll hold. The car seems to be running really good right now. I've got it idling. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it's idling really smooth. I'm gonna let it get up to operating temperature. I'm gonna check the air pressure in the tires, fill up the tires, and then take it for a drive. What's up, guys? So I thought that crank sensor had fixed it, but apparently it didn't. The thing's still missing like crazy. I looked for vacuum leaks. I didn't find any vacuum leaks. I did notice that it seems like when I sprayed fluid around where the injectors go into the intake manifold, it seemed like they were sucking some air in there. Plus, it also seems like the injectors just aren't clicking all the same. I mean, I put a stethoscope on them and listened to them, and it sounds like 2 of them aren't clicking as hard as the other 2. I don't really have an injector tester, so I can't tell for sure if there's a problem with them. So drove up here to Junkyard this morning to get I'm gonna get a whole new fuel rail, fuel injectors. I can get the whole thing for $30. It's worth trying, but I'm still flying blind, trying to test this thing out the best I can. But I'm starting to get really frustrated with this stupid thing because I've replaced just about every damn sensor on the thing just out of habit. And then the only sensors that I didn't replace were the freaking mass airflow, the O2 sensors, and the crank position sensor. And the crank position sensor on these things fails pretty regularly. So does the cam sensor. Well, I had to replace the cam sensor because it was missing. Crank sensor, I went to reuse the original one. Same with mass airflow and the O2s. I've replaced the crank sensor. Still didn't fix anything. I'm going to buy some mass airflow cleaner and clean the mass airflow sensor. And I'm going to replace the fuel rail with the fuel injectors. I'm going to try and get some fuel injectors and fuel rail off of a lower mileage car, because that engine the engine in the Nissan has 177,000 miles. I'm gonna see if I can find one in the junkyard with about 60,000 miles and take the injectors out of there and see what I can do with that. I'm still gonna replace all the O-rings on the injectors and everything, but I'll give you an update after I get back to the house and see what's going on with it. All right, guys, so I've spent all weekend working on this stupid Nissan, and I still can't get the thing to run without missing it. It's still giving me, sometimes I get a random multiple cylinder misfire, sometimes I get a misfire on cylinder 4. I've replaced all 4 coil packs, all 4 spark plugs, cam and crank position sensors, engine coolant temperature sensor. I disconnected the exhaust, made sure that it wasn't clogged up, and ran it without the exhaust. Still misses when the exhaust is off. Check for vacuum leaks. There's no vacuum leaks, or at least none that I could find. Changed out the injectors for, I got an entire fuel rail and all 4 injectors and the wiring off of a car out of the junkyard that only had 60,000 approximately, 60,000 miles on it, and replaced them. And I don't know. I've cleaned the mass airflow sensor. I haven't replaced it, but I don't have an oscilloscope. The only thing I have is a multimeter, and everything's checking good with a multimeter. I don't have a code reader. I don't have any kind of scan tool, so I'm really having a tough time figuring this thing out. But I'm gonna keep plugging away at it and try and figure it out. And when I figure it out, I'll let you know in the next video. I was really hoping I'd have this thing done, but it's still giving me fits. I mean, it runs and drives. I drove it around, and it's missing. Obviously, it's missing, but I'm hoping that it may be bad gas, because this thing had a half a tank of gas in it when I got it, and I don't know how long this car's been sitting before I got it, and I'm down to a little bit less than 1/8 of a tank. So I'm gonna try and drain it all the way down, and then put some high octane gas in it. Just put some 93 in there and see if that makes any difference. And then I don't know, I may have to actually buy brand new injectors. But I checked all the signals for the injectors. I'm receiving a signal from the ECU for all of them, from what I can tell with my multimeter. Like I say, I don't have an oscilloscope, or with a test light, because I've been using a test light for testing the injectors, make sure that they're turning on and off. And then same thing with the ignition coils. They're all getting their signals. I got power and ground, every one of them. Alternator's putting out the right charge. Mass airflow sensor's putting out the correct voltages and resistance readings. But other than that, I can't tell what else would be wrong with it. Because like I say, I don't have any kind of scan tool for this thing, and I don't plan on keeping this car, so I'm not going to invest the money in buying a scan tool for it. I've got the scan tool for the Audi because I plan on having Audis, probably the rest of my life. But this Nissan is just, it was a good price for a good car that I could get for my daughter. I didn't think she was going to be going to Korea as soon as she is. So now that she's going to Korea, I'm just trying to get it done so that they can have a car to drive while they're here for the next month, and then trade it for a truck, because I really need a truck. I don't need a car. But I got to get this thing running better than it is, and I'm still fighting. So hopefully I'll have a good update for you next week. I already did start tearing the engine out of the Audi. I haven't gotten very far, but I do have it partially torn apart. I got the whole front end off of it, and started pulling the motor, the wiring harness, and all that's out. So that'll actually be the next video, is going to be me swapping the motor out on the Audi. Hoping to have this thing back on the road in not next weekend, but the weekend after. Hoping to have it back on the road. I may not have all the body work finished to it, but I'm hoping to have the headlight wiring completed, and to have the motor swapped out to the good engine, and be back mobile with that car, so that I can start driving it again and try and get rid of the Jeep, like I've been trying to do for freaking a month and a half now, 2 months. But that's where it stands with the Nissan. Once I know what more about it, I'll give an update. But next video is going to be the A4 again. So hope y'all enjoyed. Like always, if you like what I'm doing, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let your friends see what I'm doing. And have a great day, and hope to see you in the next video.